Annie. And Adrian Pazenko, Sydney Morning Herald. Fifita brushes the Titans. He's heading to Sydney. But where? Sydney Roosters or the Gold Coast Titans? So this is according to the Sydney Morning Herald. David Fifita has informed the Titans that he will leave the club at the end of the season. He spent Wednesday night with his manager Michael Hudson, considering his future, and decided not to trigger an option in the Titans deal. That would have seen him earn $1 million a season for the next 2 years. So there you go. The Gold Coast Titans, they're losing David Fifita, but they get $1 million per year worth of good time tokens. Desi Hasler had this to say on David Fifita's decision.
Yeah, I guess it's disappointing, but it's also, it's part of the, it's all part of the game. It's all part of the theatre, and it's part of the football, merry-go-round. Players come and go and move from club to club all the time. So David's a wonderful player. He's been a good acquisition for the club, but he's decided his time has come to an end, and he's going to move to Sydney and pursue his footy career and his footy interests down there. And
something's telling me that Desi didn't find that out this morning just quietly.
No. I like that. They were very quick to get on the front foot so they can dictate terms a little bit.
It's good. It's good to see that happening with the rugby league club. And look, for mine, I'm a little bit emotional because I really have seen the Titans. Des has done an enormous job. They've been so close. I mean, the way they played against the Melbourne Storm, and I talked about this last night, just how physical they have been. They are fit, those boys. And Fifita, he's managed Fifita's game. That game on the weekend was the first game this year where he started.
Yep.
So Desi's been helping him come off the back of that. He didn't really have much of a pre-season. He's been, injecting him into the game when the sting's gone out. He's been eating the meters like there's no tomorrow, hence what he's supposed to do. But I just feel like, that's such a shame.
It is. And the thing is, so my mail, Michelle, and I appreciate the person who one of the smartest judges in the game, tells me that the big question that David Fifita is asking for Penrith and for the Roosters, and you've read stories about how Nathan Cleary's been on the phone, is he's been a left-sided player to this point. He wants to know who the 5'8" is going to be. So for the Roosters, Sam Walker plays primarily on the right. For the Panthers, Nathan Cleary plays primarily on the right. So they don't yet know who the left side 5'8" is going to be for Penrith, so who's going to be serving him, and also equally at the Roosters. Now, the other thing is to consider is Angus Crichton's being discussed for a New South Wales jumper. So what are the Roosters going to do with Angus Crichton? And he's a left-sided back row. Scott Sorensen, I think, Michelle, has just re-signed for Penrith, hasn't he?
Yeah. Isn't that it? Like, first of all, can I say that I'm so impressed that those questions are being asked, that Fifita's asking, because usually we think, for footy players, it's all about the easiest way out, the biggest money I can make.
Yeah.
He's obviously clearly thinking about his future. So a big, massive tick for that there. But going back on your Angus Crichton, I mean, I've heard that many different variations of what's happening with Angus Crichton over the last 12 months. It's almost become frustrating.
It is, yes. Shaylee Bent is the girlfriend of David Fifita. Yep. She's from Glenmore Park. She's a Penrith girl, born in a Nepean hospital. So maybe that's a factor which may sway him to Penrith. Who knows? Victor Radley, speaking of the Roosters, he had this to say about David Fifita.
We take him, mate. He's an exceptional player. He's a beast. You want as many good players in your team as possible, and he's one of them. So, yeah, I know. Hope we get him. Mate, the way Angus has been playing, he's the best back row in the comp. So, things sort itself out normally. Things happen for a reason. He's been the best back row in the game, so nothing's been done yet, so I can't really comment.
Victor's having an each-way bet.
Isn't he? Yeah. Who's playing where? Interesting.
What would you do? It's a tough one.
What if I'm David?
If you're David Fifita.
You know what? It might have been Maddie. Somebody was saying about that if you go to Penrith, and even if you win a comp, there's already been so much done there already. Like, I suppose if you go to the Roosters, if you get something done, it's all fresh with everyone else. So I don't know if that's a great consideration, but I honestly don't know, Michelle. I'd have to be in his shoes to properly understand what he's trying to achieve, his girlfriend situation. I don't know. What would you do?
Well, listen, I'm thinking. Hang on, I might be wrong here. I think was Shaylee playing up in Queensland. I don't know where she. I'll have to have a look at where she's moved. I know she's from Sydney.
I think
she's from Mount Druitt way, but I'm just trying to work out. I thought she was with the Titans last time as well.
Yeah. When did the Bulldogs girls come in? I think she had been linked with them.
The Bulldogs, okay. All
but
right,
Rachel Pearson might know, to be honest with you. We're going to catch up with her a little bit later on. Brasco Dom, date night Dom. He had an exclusive this afternoon at North Sydney Oval. That was the audio we just played you, thanks to Victor Radley. So we appreciate that, Brasco Dom. Well done to you. Adrian Prezenko caught up with Jimmy Smith this afternoon, and here's what he thought from the Sydney Morning Herald.
Des got the news this morning. It wouldn't have been the news that he was hoping for, and he would have been working very hard in order to keep him there. And, of course, it's a bit of an affront because he's actually sacrificing money in order to go somewhere else. He'd be on $1 million for 2025, 2026, and he'll be taking less money, ostensibly to go to a successful club. And you could say that his two suitors are that, both Penrith and the Roosters. And if you had two clubs fighting over your services, they're the two that I would.
Yes, that's exactly right. You've gone to the ball, and the two hottest people in the room want you. That's what's happening, isn't it?
Oh,
Just about.
That's never happened to me.
Never happened to me. Oh, yes, it has. Yes, it has. Hello, darling.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Bisho.
Yeah, looking forward to Mother's Day.
Yeah, we go to Brisbane, don't we?
That's
He's
right. And the Panthers have even had a 3-time world champion surfer. Maybe he was behind enemy lines. Mick Fanning. He was at Titans camp yesterday. So has Mick Fanning played a sneaky sleuth role in this? Interesting. Big news, big news. And David Fifita has signed with the Roosters. Michael Chammas reporting through the Sydney Morning Herald. And that means that he's going to go to Bondi. 4 years, $3.3 million. Michelle, it's quite the haircut. So what's he losing? The best part of almost $200K. So they're giving the...
And it's more expensive to live in Sydney too.
Yeah.
I'm getting with the strength, by the way. Just seeing a little...
I've noticed you've jumped on the bandwagon.
Just got a Roosters hat on. It's a rarity, and it won't be on for long.
You're bishing hats now.
Yes. I stole it from the office. I'm not sure who owns it, but anyway.
Hey, Michelle, riddle me this, right? So the talk was that Nathan Cleary had been talking to Fifita a bit. They would have been part of that Australian team together. But the influence of Justin Holbrook, what part has he played? Of course, the former Gold Coast coach. They reacquaint themselves at Bondi. But I want to ask you this, okay? I want to think a few steps ahead here, Michelle. Let's get to round 17. Hypothetically, the Gold Coast mathematically can't make the finals. Right.
Right, I'm there.
So if the Roosters happen to have a spare, well, he's on $1 million at the moment.
I know where you're going with this.
So pro rata, you're probably the best part of 2/3 of the year gone. And the loophole, which I don't agree with. So if at the start of the year you've got $300,000 to spend, or $350,000, for me, if that's at the start of the year, in round one, that affords you a $350,000 player. But the way we've got it at the moment, without diminishing value of how many rounds are gone, that means that come, round 17 perhaps, you might be able to spend that $300,000 or $350,000 to get yourself on grand final day $1 million player. That to me is a flaw in the system.
I don't like it.
But right now, so let's fast forward to round 17. Mm-hmm. Titans are out of the running, and the Roosters say, you know what? You're going to lose him next year. You can't make the finals. How about we save you $300,000? Now, that's good business for the Gold Coast Titans. Why would you burn your $300,000?
Business for Des.
And then all of a sudden, David Fifita has a couple of month tilt, 3-month tilt, whatever the case may be, at a grand final, which if they have $300 in their cap or $350 in their cap, that is doable. That would go down like a lead balloon in rugby league community. Well, but it's doable. Thoughts?
Well, as a fan, no, I hate it. I dislike it. I think it's a rort.
Well, it is. I think so, but it's under the current rules. Have your say. 1300 01 1170 or text 0457 736 736.